Hi there, I'm Spenta. I live in USDA Zone 7 and I love gardening. I have plants indoor and outdoors and I would love to share some tips with you today. I hope you like, comment, and share. And remember to subscribe if you haven't done so. Again, I'm Spenta and I wish you a beautiful day and thank you for watching my share. Good day to you and thanks for joining me. I'm Spenta. It's a beautiful day. Autumn is peeking through and my gardens are looking very colorful. Today I'm going to discuss what it's like to garden with a purpose and why is it important to garden with a purpose. Again, I'm Spenta. I thank you for being here. I live in USDA Zone 7. As I mentioned, the autumn season is approached, and here you see my black-eyed Susan, the daisies. Those are some Shasta daisies. They are still doing really well, and I have some more black-eyed Susan that's going to come up soon. Very good. And here is my older black-eyed Susan, and behind it you can see some hostas, other plants, coral bells, dianthus. These are really lovely plants and they come back each year, which means they are perennial. I love perennial plants and I love planting perennial flowers. Now my hydrangea is looking like that right now, but that is typical of what you should expect it to look like around this time of the year. Okay, later on that hydrangea will die back and you want to mulch it up. You want to add a lot of mulch to your gardens. A couple of reasons I found mulching is important is because mulching not only keeps moisture in, heat in, and perhaps the cold out. Not only it does that, when weeds are growing in your gardens, mulching does a big favor. And that favor is that it actually helps the weeds not get too deep rooted into your gardens, and that's really important when you're having to pull weeds daily, which is what I have to do. As you can see over here, there's some weeds that I have to pull, and it is the daily thing for Spenta, so that's what I have to do. And I spent some time in my gardens. As you can see, I pulled some weeds. As you can see, I spent lots of time in my gardens, a couple of hours a day in the front and a couple of hours a day in the back. So right here, you might be wondering what this is. Again, this is gardening with a purpose. Here is my bearded iris that I trimmed back in the summertime. I mentioned earlier in a video, if you check out my playlists, I have spring and summer. I also have winter and autumn playlists. So if you check out my playlist, it'll show you that in the spring, these give beautiful flowers. In the summer, the leaves die back and brown up. And then later on, I actually trim them back all the way down. And you see at the autumn season, beginning of the fall, this is what they look like. Brand new shoots start coming up. And they'll stay this way and they'll stay green all the way throughout the winter. As soon as spring pops up, they will start flowering, but my bulbs will flower first. Again, this is gardening with a purpose. So my purpose was to have a perennial garden up front, one that is a flowering perennial garden, one that also stays green throughout the winter. Of course, I understand I may not be able to have flowers all year round, but I just wanted something green. And I have that right here, a really big size shrub right here. It is a lovely bush, and I have a few more, and those are evergreens. So it's important to, in your landscaping, add evergreens, perennials, and if you have seeds, which I do, I added this here as a seed. It looks so gorgeous. Everybody asks me as they walk by my place, they say, did you buy those? And how come it's all over your place? And what did you do? It's a self-seeding flowering plant. It's a black-eyed Susan. It is not a sunflower. Okay, it is a black-eyed Susan. They're different than brown-eyed Susan even. I have both varieties. And this here, the Shasta or Shasta daisy, whichever way you'd like to call them, I actually pollinated all of these, cultivated all of these by just a cutting. I just took a cutting early on from a neighbor, and Sandy, being nice, gave me a few of her daisies, and now I have so many in my gardens thanks to her, all over the place. So, and I also have a friendship garden. Again, Zen garden, friendship garden, culinary garden. That's the same thing as having a grilling garden. Any garden with a purpose is a good garden. A garden that you want to have to just look at pretty flowers as you walk by. Or maybe you want to cut the flowers. Are you the kind of person that likes to look at your gardens and see the beauty of the gardens outdoors? Or are you the kind of person that wants to grab flowers and also add some indoors? I'm both. So in the back, I have other plants that allow me to do this. So that is very important. And also, I have a 12 o'clock perennial herbal garden. What does that mean? That means that its main purpose is to stay an evergreen herbal garden for me throughout the year. I live in USDA Zone 7. The winter here, it gets cool. It gets down to negative 17 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's pretty cold. And this year it's been really, really hot and humid due to being an El Nino year. And it's been really nice. As you see, there's rain on my plants, which I like. I did not have to water as much this year, which was very nice. Those are some basil. I love growing basil, and I have some rosemary there. Let's see, those are some Swiss chards. I have parsley, I have mint, different varieties of mint, and here I have some thyme. As I mentioned, I love growing, and I have lavender. I love growing sage, herbs, any herbs to use for culinary purposes, to cook with, or to make teas with, herbal teas with. And I also like decorative plants. I find it important that if you want produce, if you're wanting a produce mainly garden that just gives you food, which is what I wanted originally, I wanted all peppers. I still have gardens in the back that are all peppers only, because my goal is to cultivate the spiciest pepper. Now, that being said, it is not the only thing I have. I have realized that keeping pollinators around is very important. So that is another type of garden that you could have, is called a pollinator garden, which your purpose is to just bring in pollinators. You could also have a bird garden, which is to bring in those beautiful hummingbirds, and they love funnel-sized flowers and funnel-shaped flowers, and I have many funnel-type flowers such as morning glory, and they enjoy those flowers. They love it, they thrive, and they enjoy. And these are mums, these here that I'm sharing with you, they're chrysanthemums. Chrysanthemums are hardy, and they come back for me each year in the spring and fall. So for me, chrysanthemums are great. These flowers, zinnias and blanket flower, I plant from seed. However, if you get a winter that's not so cold, blanket flower will be able to last. So this is an Arizona blanket flower. It's one of my favorite flowers. It's so beautiful. I love everything that looks like the sun. I think that it adds so much color to your gardens in the fall season, and this is what it is. It's the autumn season, and oh, I love color. I absolutely love color, and here we are. And those colors that you can see, these different colors, not only they're vibrant, but they will bring in different pollinators for me. So different pollinators, different birds, and I also have herbs. As you see, you can have herbs in your flower gardens. You can have herbs like I have here, bordering my garden right here. You see? I have chocolate mint using it as a border. So you could do that if you wanted to. Just remember, mint and other plants can take over. You just have to upkeep with your gardens. A lot of people ask me, what do you do with all those invasive plants? I just say, well, to be honest with you, all I do is I take care of them. I pull weeds every day. If they're invasive, if I see that they're taking place in my gardens with something else, I simply take them out. And if I see anything that I don't like, I just simply pull it. I just simply do that. And it's okay to throw it back in the garden because it's organic material. Those are all organic material, so that's fine. And in a few days it'll decompose and add to the mulch, and it is just fine. By the way, I also use my own compost. My compost consists of 1/3 cow manure, 1/3 grass clippings and clippings from these flowers or any herbs I have here in the gardens, and also 1/3 of whatever veggies or fruit scraps I have indoors. So I save all that and I make my own compost. Of course, you have to wet it down and it takes a few years for that to process, but it's important and it's very nice and it's rewarding. As I mentioned, you want it to be rewarding, and if you want something to be rewarding, then you have to take the time for that. Another thing is, everyone asks, and I should probably go ahead and let everybody know right now, I do fertilize my plants. With 20-20-20, I fertilize all my plants, whether they're veggies or they are just simple plants like right here, flowers. As you can see, I plant from seeds each year. My sunflowers can't come back each year, right? They're annual. So see right there, as you can see right there, that is a sunflower that's coming up, and I have more sunflowers that'll be coming up, and I'll share these gardens with you later in the autumn season. This is just the beginning, so I will share later. So this is a little bit leftover of what I have from the summer, which is very amazing for them to actually still have flowers on them, because usually the heat would have zapped them, but I made sure that I took care of them. And it's really important if you plant something and it's new. As I mentioned, I took all of these daisies. These are all from my own. Once I took one simple cutting from my friend, and I made all of this throughout the years. And you can do the same thing. Hosta plants, they're perennial right there. They come back each spring, and I cannot believe that these have stayed this way. I believe it's due to so much rain. Usually they will not be this color throughout the fall. They would have died by now. But I'm just very amazed at the amount of rain we've had. They've done the flowers and gardens really great job. They've done them a good deed. So here we are, and the yellow mums are doing so great this year. Lots of flowers on them, and I have mums everywhere, so they're the same as chrysanthemums. I also love chrysanthemums. This chrysanthemum is one of my favorite flowers. Back home, I had another flower that I really, really like. It's a carnation, similar family. I also have carnations, and carnations are also just starting to flower. I can't wait to share those with you. So it's really important to garden with a purpose. You need to know if you're wanting to have a flower garden, if you're wanting to have lots of flower gardens, or if you just want to have a meditation garden. Do you want to just sit down and meditate? Is it what you're looking for, is to just sit, meditate in the morning and listen to those chimes? Or are you interested in a culinary garden? Is it that you want to have some fresh tea, or is it that you'd like to enjoy some cooking of any kind, and you'd like to add those herbs, fresh herbs from your own gardens, organic? Is it that what you want? Or do you want to see the beautiful birds flying all over the place? Is it that you want to see birds or those pollinators? For me, it's all of the above. So if that is all of the above, then you have to incorporate lots of different plants in your gardens. You have to be patient, and you have to know that gardening takes time. If I can do it, you can do it. It takes a lot of time. Just be positive and you can do it. Again, gardening with a purpose is very important because it allows you to come outside, enjoy what you planted for what you wanted. Not only that, it also gives you exactly what you asked for. Gardening with a purpose is a good thing for beginners. Don't forget, whenever you are gardening, adding flowers adds pollinators. Adding pollinators means more produce. For those who are looking into a veggie or fruit garden, it is very important to have early and late pollinators. I'm Spenta, and I wish you a beautiful day and happy gardening. Thanks for watching my share.